Trump campaign proposes 10 questions for Kamala's first interview since taking over the Democratic nomination for president. It's no coincidence that Kamala's first interview is scheduled for the Thursday night before Labor Day weekend. They already hope it gets lost, and it hasn't even aired yet. And I will confirm this, having worked in marketing. Dude, Thursday night before the Labor Day weekend, you know what everyone's doing right now? They're packing. They're not watching the interview. Tomorrow, I know this because we're packing. Tomorrow, they're going to be sitting there staring at their watch, waiting for the day to end so they can get in their car and try and beat traffic because it's Labor Day weekend and they're going to be getting out of here.
TSA was predicting today is the busiest travel day of the year.
Whoa, you hear that?
Yeah, that's because you're supposed to be focusing
Lightning.
on work.
Ian, what are you doing with this thunder? We're in the middle of recording.
I need to channel if you guys want me to part the clouds.
I thought you would come prepared for work.
But I might not be very social.
Did that lightning strike, that had to have been really close to us. Did that pick up on the show? Because Ian can control the weather, and he was talking about lightning crashing, and now here we are. Well, Ian, you gotta knock it off.
You mentioned Labor Day and how people are actually treating it like leisure day, and I'm like, yo, that day is supposed to be about work and focus, and all these people trying to dip out and get out of town is like, what is it? It's not leisure, you know?
The truth is Ian can't control the weather. I actually checked the forecast a couple days ago, and they predicted thunderstorms tonight, so we prepared for it.
I kind of want the rain now because I think the
happen.
plants need it. I've been looking around at the greenery, and it's like, I can get it away if you want.
Anyway, let's talk about the questions that Trump's asking. The first is, if you are capable of lowering prices for Americans, why haven't you done it in the 3.5 years you've been in office? You say housing affordability would be a day one priority. Why isn't it a priority now? These are funny questions. You co-sponsored Medicare for All and the Green New Deal. Do you still support these multi-trillion-dollar takeovers of the American economy? And there's a handful of other ones that are particularly good. But I got to be honest, we all know these questions will not be asked. I mean, maybe, why did you conceal Joe Biden's cognitive decline from the American people? Why did she?
They all did. It's also just part of the shared consciousness of joy. It was this weird, creepy, almost cult-like, to use a word they often throw at Trump supporters, cult-like, the leader is fine, everything will be fine. Pete Buttigieg was my favorite. Literally 2 days before Biden dropped out, he was on Bill Maher's show talking about how Joe Biden was great. Oh, maybe he had a bad debate, and yeah, he's old, but he's incredible. He's absolutely, not only is he incredible, he's better than people who are in their 30s and 40s. He's just sharper than everybody. And yeah, it's something they do collectively, and then they gave each other permission to change their minds overnight, and that's what happened. But my question for Kamala Harris would be, what is the achievement you are proudest of? What's your biggest accomplishment? Which is not a gotcha question, right? That's a friendly question. There's no answer because she hasn't actually achieved anything except getting elected. And I asked Democrats very casually and in a friendly way at the convention, what's her greatest accomplishment? And they could not answer it.
That's a great question.
It is a great question, in part because I think Harris is trying to distance herself really rapidly from Biden, which that's whose name she's been hanging out with for the last 3 years. So she should, she could hypothetically say, oh, the things that we have done this past year for, I don't know, whatever, small businesses in America, for LGBTQ rights. I'm very proud of my abortion tour. But all of that would be tied to the Biden-Harris campaign, which she doesn't want to be part of. I saw a clip of an interview that someone did with Ben Stiller, the actor, where he was saying he was excited about Harris because it's time for a change. You realize she's currently in the White House, yes?
These people don't pay attention to anything. But, my response with the question, because I hear it get asked a lot, what is Kamala Harris' greatest accomplishment? You'd think for someone who's been VP for 3.5 years, she'd have done something. She has done things. She does have accomplishments. She cast the tie-breaking vote for the Inflation Reduction Act, which failed, and prices have gotten worse, which she complains about and says she wants to fix. But she has accomplished just that. So the important thing is, if people actually knew what our accomplishments were, in fact, I recommend this to, to Elad or to James Klug. You guys are on the street. You ask someone, what do you think are some of Kamala Harris's greatest accomplishments as vice president over the past several years? And when they say, oh, I don't know, I'm not sure, say, what about casting the tie-breaking vote for the Inflation Reduction Act? That was a good one, right? And they'll go, yeah, that was good. And it resulted in higher prices and more inflation. And now the cost of food is up, rent is up, and everything's worse. And that's what she did. That's her accomplishment. Why vote for someone like that?
What, with the Inflation Reduction Act, led to, I'm not familiar with the act, what happened in it that caused inflation to go up?
Well, there were a couple of things. She also cast a tie-breaking vote for the America Rescue Plan, which was the initial massive spending that Biden added on top of the spending that hadn't yet gone out the door from the Trump administration. So in my view, and other people, including economists, share this view. That was what really kicked off the inflationary spiral.